Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo Malloy. So, I want to talk about this tweet that I happened to stumble upon just a few hours ago, just before this recording. So, Alan Tudyk, I would say he's a notable actor within the animation community. Does a lot of voice over work, but also too he has done some live action stuff. I would say projects that he's notable for include Dodgeball, Andor, the Rogue One, with part of the Star Wars universe, and iRobot. In fact, I would say iRobot is, I would say, a role, I guess that was one of his notable roles, I would say. Because that movie came out back in 2004. I remember I saw it in theaters at the time. I really enjoyed it. I thought Alan Tudyk did a good job playing Sonny the robot. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember he was one of the highlights of that movie. So, I mentioned that because he appeared on this podcast called Tuned with Jim Cummings. I guess, came out about a month ago. But a clip from that episode, I guess, was clipped and shared today on Twitter. So I want to go over that, shall we? So says here that Alan Tudyk revealed his name was removed from all iRobot press and marketing after his performance tested higher than Will Smith. Interesting. So let's just see what he says
You
here.
mentioned.
Hang on, let me pause it. Oh, I could do full screen. Awesome.
You mentioned iRobot. So a lot of people didn't know I did Sonny the robot on iRobot, and there's a
No,
reason
I
for
didn't,
that.
actually.
Because they were doing test audiences with the movie, and they score the characters in this kind of test audience. And I got word back, Alan, you're testing higher than
Will Smith.
Nice.
It's about to slap you.
And then I was gone. I was done. There was no publicity, and my name was not mentioned. They wanted to.
That's what you get.
Yeah. And I
good
I
deed
was
goes
so shocked. I was
unpunished,
like,
huh?
but wait, how do they? Nobody's going to know that and they're like, and
That's sad. That was such a good performance too.
it was, yeah. I put a lot into it because he had to move like a robot, so I had to move. It was very, it was whatever it was. At the time, I was very upset.
Yeah, and when I first saw this made me upset. I was just shocked when I saw this. So I previously did a video a while ago. I guess this was before when Joker 2 came out, when they were discussing test screenings. So I did a whole video about test screenings if you want to know more about that. But this is just shocking though. It's messed up that he was just removed from publicity because he tested higher in the test screening, which again, uh, for me, I would say with test screenings, it doesn't necessarily make or break the movie because it's just the opinion of what certain amount of people. Because just because those people, say whatever does not mean everyone else will. But yeah, just check out that video on test screenings. But yeah, with this, I'm just honestly I was just shocked because I shared the story on my Instagram story. Like I shared a clip of this, and honestly, I was just like surprised by this because it just makes you wonder like who made that decision to remove him. From what I could tell in the comments here, a lot of people are pointing Will Smith because he's a star, and also too he is the executive producer of the movie. Essentially, if you're not familiar with producing, so essentially, executive producer they don't really take care of the nuts and bolts of the production, but they do have a say in regards to the creative aspects and the financial aspects of the movie. While the producer, they're in charge of the nuts and bolts. They essentially run the production. They deal with the day by day stuff that happens while filming a movie or a TV show and so forth. So yeah, because it makes you wonder, in terms of that decision to remove him from publicity. Was it the studio that made that call? Was it Will Smith that made that call? Or both? Honestly, who knows? Now, I'm not surprised people are pointing the blame at Will Smith, just given what has happened with him for the past couple years since the slap. Some would argue before that. But I want to take a look at the comments here. Can you imagine if they did this to Andy Serkis in Lord of the Rings? Why would you not highlight a motion capture performance? I'm learning about this for the first time. He has a point. Let's see. Funny, every time I see him, I always think, oh, that's the guy that was the robot in iRobot. I watched behind the scenes on the DVD when I got it. Yeah, because I have the DVD of it as well too. This is how I found out Alan Tudyk was Sunny. I mean, I found that's interesting. Interesting. But did the check clear? That's all that matters. I really think money doesn't matter at the end. Now, sure, of course, people want to be paid for their work and all that stuff, but I wouldn't say that's all that matters, because I think what matters is the work and getting the recognition and all that stuff. So, yeah. Let's see. Wow, Jim, what W2F Jim Cummings has a podcast? Yeah, I just found out he had a podcast as well too today because of this clip. Just want to use the opportunity to say how great Resident Alien is and how amazing Tudyk is in it. I've not seen that show, but I've heard people praise that show. I need to check it out at some point. I think I did see the news that it got canceled, I believe, but yeah, I need to check that out. Um, let's see. The character's name or the actors? I suppose I could believe audiences connecting more with Sonny as a character, but there is no way they connected more with Alan Tudyk than Will Smith, which means it makes no sense for his name to be removed. This is just weird. Removed for being too good. Sounds like it. This is why I didn't even know he was a robot. He was such a good actor. I couldn't figure out why he didn't get more work when I saw him do so well in the early 2000s. But it turns out he was getting work, but Hollywood just didn't let people know how good he was. Da, 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 da. A lot of stuff here. But yeah, you kind of get the gist on what people saying here, like on at least on Twitter. But yeah, like I'm honestly, yeah, still surprised. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Honestly, though, but because it's one thing. Let's say if the studio they made the call on this based on that test screening, but it'll be another. Let's say if Will Smith just made this call. I mean, that would be very shitty if that were the case. Because I don't think, because I saw Variety did article on this, and they did reach out to Will Smith's reps for comment, and I guess so far no word back. But yeah, it'd be really terrible, like if Will Smith were to found out that he made this call. But yeah, and I do want to share his IMDb, because I've seen the comments saying that people weren't familiar with Alan Tudyk being in iRobot. Because I find that's interesting, because if you look on the homepage here, in one of the top 4 credits here, it lists iRobot as Sunny. So will you look at that? And I do want to share, because Because I think I saw a tweet earlier that mentioned that, oh, like Will Smith wasn't a producer, and all that stuff. But yeah, easily this could be debunked when you looked at the credits here, because under producers, Will Smith is listed as executive producer. So I imagine he did have to say in regards to um, what went down with the movie. Now, under what capacity, he had a say, like, is uncertain. But yeah, he did have to say. So I'll leave it up for you guys to, make your own assessment based off that. I don't really have much to add, but if you want to check out the podcast episode that Alan Tudyk was in, let me share my screen. So it's this episode, developing a life like Sunny for iRobot 2, part 2, because it's a two-parter. Yeah, for Tuned In with Jim Cummings. So that's on YouTube if you want to check it out, and I'm sure it's available on all platforms. So that's pretty much that. Let me know, what do you guys think about all this? Were you just as shocked as I was when you first saw this? Who do you think was in the wrong? Do you think it was the studio? Do you think it was Will Smith, or both? Who knows? Let me know in the comment section. And also, too, if you want to support me, you can visit buymeacoffee.com/numphymalloy, where you could donate, and also to check out the post there and follow me there. And then also, too, I have my community tab on YouTube. You could feel free to post there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.